The Shrine of Remembrance is an impressive building with a fascinating design feature. On Remembrance Day each year, the 11th of the 11th at 11 AM, the sun is perfectly aligned so a beam of light shines through an aperture and strikes a plaque inside. Well, it used to. That was until the 1970s when daylight savings was introduced, bringing it all out of alignment. So what do you do if you've spent millions of dollars, careful design, careful alignment, and then somebody just moves the sun? The Shrine of Remembrance is a war memorial to honour those who died during World War I. The idea to create a memorial happened immediately after the war. There was a bit of a discussion about what should be built. Should it be something practical like a hospital or a road, or should it be something more standalone? That's what they went with this structure. One of the design features of the building is that it's major and prominent, and it lines up with Johnston Street and is visible from the city of Melbourne itself. So the building itself is built in the classical style, based on the tomb of Mausolus, which was built in 350 BC. That's where the name mausoleum comes from. Now that building was destroyed in the 15th century in an earthquake, whereas this one was built in the 1920s and opened to the public in the early 1930s.
At Melbourne's great Shrine of Remembrance, 250,000 people surround the majestic stone monument which enshrines the memory of Anzac. We will remember them.
So this is the Stone of Remembrance, and it's inlaid into the ground, so when people see it they kind of bow their heads as a sign of respect. And the text on it, "Greater love hath no man," is from a biblical quote talking about the idea that giving your life is the greatest love that you can have. And this is what the light shines on at that special moment in the year. That is recognising armistice, the end of World War I, the 11th of the 11th at 11 AM. The sun would be aligned so that it would fall through this aperture, which is a hole in the roof, and strike that plaque. Now, all of this careful planning was undone in 1971 when Victoria introduced daylight savings. What that meant is that with the clocks moving back, rather than strike the stone at 11 AM, which is the significant time, it would happen an hour later, 12 PM, and outside the time of the ceremony. But the Remembrance Day ceremony is an important one, so what do you do? Well, for the first couple of years, they used an artificial light source to kind of replicate the effect. That didn't solve the real issue. How could the actual sunlight be made to hit the stone at the right time? So in 1975, the Shrine approached RMIT University, and the man for the job was a surveying lecturer by the name of Frank Johnston. And what Frank came up with was a mirror system that would bend the light into place, like that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was over 4 decades ago, so how is it being solved today?
My name's Frank Johnston. I was a lecturer in surveying at RMIT.
That's right, he continues to solve this problem to this very day and kindly invited me to join and see how this system works.
In 1976 we built the pillar which is here on the upper walkway of the shrine. On that pillar there's a mirror which we adjust the dip of each year to make sure that it's correct, and the sun will shine onto the mirror and then go up to the outer aperture, which is up there in the edge of the ceiling of the shrine. We've got a horizontal mirror there where that light beam coming up is reflected exactly down the path that the natural sun will be an hour later, onto the Stone of Remembrance. It's been there now for 43, 44 years and has worked very well every year. We come in a few days before and set up a surveying instrument and check that the mirror is oriented correctly so that the reflection will be correct. Then we go to the inner ceiling between the inner and outer apertures and we wait to see what's going to happen. Seeing it actually come onto the stone at about 2 minutes to 11 each year, you think, oh good, it's working, the world's operating as it should.
The ceremony is filled with dignitaries, Premier, Governor and more, and with the mirrors in place there was nothing to do but wait. While the alignment was perfect, there's one thing even Frank can't control, and that's the cloud cover. This year, as happens from time to time, we were clouded out at 11 AM, but not 1 hour later. I just love the idea that during the ceremony there's a small number of dignitaries here with kind of the small number of honour guard, but this opens up to the public after the ceremony ends. So at that time, the public can see the true light where it shines directly from the sun rather than the mirror version. There's something I think quite poetic about that it really becomes the public's light. So with Frank having trained up a team of surveyors and with daylight savings not going anywhere anytime soon, I think that we're in for decades more of bending the light.